Lesson 2. Backstitch. Backstitch is one of the basic stitches used in many types of hand embroidery. Backstitches are sewn in the opposite direction that you are sewing in. A backstitch is a quite simple stitch, but it needs some practice, so let's start. Poke the needle up at the beginning of your line and put the needle down at the necessary length. Next, skip the space which is equal to your previous stitch and poke the needle up again. After that, insert the needle down through the same hole as the last stitch. Thus, you join two stitches, because there must be no space between stitches. So, continue along the line in this way. Now, let's make a secure knot. And cut the thread. You can use as many strands as you want, but remember, the more strands you take, the thicker line you get. So, if you need a thin, delicate line, it's better to take 1, 2, or maybe 3 strands, for example. If you want to create a thick, heavy line, so you should take 5, 6, or even 10 or 12 strands. It depends on your design and size of your work. Now you can see the difference between the backstitch made of 1 strand, 2 strands, 3, 4, 5, and at last 6 strands. As you see, the thickest line is line number 6, and the delicate line is line number 1. So, mind it. So, now let's practice. First, draw 4 lines about 5 or 6 centimeters and divide the first line into equal parts, about 3 or 4 millimeters. Place the fabric between 2 hoops and tighten the screw. Pull the fabric around the outside of the hoop in all directions. Tighten the screw again. Continue until your fabric becomes very tight and perfectly flat. Thread your needle. Use, for example, 3 strands. Choose the color you like and let's start practicing. Poke up the needle at the beginning of your line and then put the needle down at the stitch length. Use these dots to make the stitches of the same length. Then skip the space and poke up the needle at the next dot. Go backwards and put the needle down through the same hole as the previous stitch. Continue along the line in this way. Then go to the next line. Only half of this line is divided into smaller parts, so you can practice a backstitch without dots. Now let's try to change the length of the stitches and make them longer. Remember, there must be no space between stitches. And the fourth line. Here, backstitches are shorter. Now let's embroider a circle. The diameter of your circle is up to you. And let's start to backstitch it. Thus you will practice to outline the shape, not just a line, but now we are working with a shape. It's a circle. Try to keep your stitches of the same length. This is the main rule of a backstitch. And the last stitch. And make a secure knot. After that, we cut the thread. That's all. Our circle is ready. Now I propose to embroider a letter. You can choose any letter you like. I will embroider letter A because it's the first letter of my name. So we start as usual, trying to make perfect back stitches. Please pay attention that if you need to backstitch a curved line, so it's better to make smaller, shorter stitches. So keep going. Now we have a curved line again, so try to make your back stitches shorter, so your line will be more clear, more perfect. Wow, the backstitch is perfect for making straight or curved lines, for adding some details, for outlining different shapes, absolutely different shapes, for embroidering stamps, and also for lettering, of course, and many other variants. And now let's make a secure knot, because we need a perfect back of our embroidery as well. And cut the thread. And we have the last step. The last stitch, and our letter is ready. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, so see you soon.